Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to replace both of the transmission filters in a Honda Civic. This is a 2020 model, but this procedure should apply to 2015 to 2021 Honda Civics. The first thing to do, of course, is to lift the hood and remove the air filter housing. There are two bolts that you have to remove on the driver's side, both of them on the driver's side, and I will supply the torque values for these for all the bolts and nuts. I believe this is about 7 foot-pounds, if I'm not mistaken. And then disconnect the electric connector. You just press a tab and remove it, and there's the harness connector. Just remove the harness till you just pull it up, and this clamp you'll need a Phillips screwdriver. Loosen it and then put it to the side. And then you can remove the housing, and it's just lift it up. It may seem like it's stuck, but just give it some pressure, and there are 2 points, one here and one there, that connects it to the bottom there. There's one hole, and then there's that in here. So that's what's holding it, and that will allow you to remove the heat exchanger. It's held by 3 bolts. I think these are 10 millimeter, either 10 or 12. 12, I think these are 12. There are 3 of them. One is kind of harder to get to in the bottom, but feel it by hand first, put the socket on it, and then the wrench. And I'll give the torque values for these two. Behind here is where I think it's called the warmer filter is located, and there are 2 rubber gaskets that you would have to replace. And I'll have the part numbers for the gaskets, the filters, and if you call the Honda dealerships, whether by design or ignorance, they may tell you that these cars only take 1 transmission filter, but that's not true. There are 2 of them. One is in the transmission pan, inside the transmission pan, and this is the other one. Remove and if you have some needle nose pliers, you can just remove this very easily. As you can see, this car is about 32,000 miles, so it's pretty dirty and dark. Don't forget to remove, make sure that the gasket comes out as it did here. If not, look for it, and then press it until it doesn't go any farther. And you can rub some oil, transmission oil, on the new gaskets, but clean the mating surfaces, both of them. And you might want to put a towel underneath, as you see me having done already. There's a towel underneath right there. It's kind of dark. I don't know if it's visible in the video or not, but because some fluid may spill out, very little, but you need some brake cleaner too, and so you can once you have replaced this, you can apply some brake cleaner and clean that area good. So as the engine heats up, it doesn't smoke or smell. Make sure it's well seated, or they are well seated, both of them, and carefully place it back where you found it. Start all 3 bolts by hand first, so you don't cross thread them. Now these CVT transmissions are very sensitive. You have to do this every 30,000 miles. I think dealerships charge anywhere from $380 to more. It takes, I would say it shouldn't take more than, if you haven't done it before, give it about 2 hours. It may take you between 2 to 3 hours. Once you do it one time, then after that it really doesn't take that long. I mean, it's just removing the air filter housing in this heat exchanger and the filter, so and then torquing them. And after that, you want to lift the car if you have a lift. If not, you can do this on jack stands. The only thing I would caution is that make sure you have a level placed against the bottom of the transmission pan after you have the car on 4 jack stands, and to make sure that the transmission pan is perfectly level. So that way, because you drain the fluid and then you fill the fluid through a filler hole. Yeah, this right here, the filler hole, and then there's a drain hole in the bottom of the car, and you keep filling until it drains out of there. If the car is not level, then it may drain either prematurely or not drain because it's tilted the other way. So you want the car to be level so that you can have a perfect measurement of when to stop filling the system with more oil. Clean this prior to removing the plug. It just lifts up. It has a little handle. And then put it back in, but not all the way. So it creates an air vacuum and makes it easier to drain. And also something else you should do is drive the car for a while. Bring it to temperature before you do this job, so the fluid comes out easier. Here are the jack stand places where you would put the jack stands. And to jack the car up, one is in the front right here, right after the front cover, and the other one is in the back immediately after the bumper. This is a 2020 car, by the way, so if yours here, I'm showing a diagram from the Honda service manual. Your rear jack mount point may be in a different location. And then you need a straight driver screwdriver. There are a number of these, and a Phillips screwdriver for probably 4 or so screws. And the straight ones, you just turn just 1/4 of a turn. So 45 degrees, and then it will come out. And then these are the smaller ones that you have to unscrew all the way. And there are two tabs that hold them on the other end. So you just press the whole thing one way and then it will come out. Yeah, you see one of the tabs right there to the left of the screen or camera. And that will reveal the engine oil pan, which is on the passenger side, and then the transmission pan, which is here on the driver's side. And all you need is a 3/8 inch wrench. You don't really need a socket to remove the drain bolt. Have a something ready underneath, something white, because at first it may shoot off fast and hard. Or you can hold the drain plug there for a little while so that it doesn't, I mean, it shoots off to the other side fast for the first, I would say, 2 seconds or so. So if you just hold it there for a second or two, then it will kind of drain downwards. And here, according to the service manual, make sure you drain it for at least 5 minutes. And the metal shavings on the drain plug itself, there's a magnet there, the black part of it. Clean that real good and then apply some brake fluid to it. And replace the washer. I'll give the part number. You can get these from Honda or from Amazon. They sell 10 of them for just a couple of bucks. And then I believe this is 36 foot-pounds, but I will double check and put that in the video. Clean it real good. And then remove the, I'm not sure how many, probably, I would say 14 or so bolts. There are 2 or 3 of them that are longer, and they are identified on the pan by little arrows. There may be 2 or 3. And you cannot misplace them because, or put them in the wrong place, because the longer ones don't fit, only fit the ones that are designed for it. So I'm not sure if, yeah, you see the, yeah, here are the arrows, and those are the ones that take the longer bolts. So leave two, this one and one on the other side to the end, until the end, and then remove those 2 and just be ready. It may fall out, it may not. Just be ready to, if it does. And remove the gasket. And this is the transmission filter. It's held in place by two bolts. The torque value for this, the filter, and all the bolts for the pan are the same. And I'll put that in the video too. The filter itself has a gasket. Make sure that the gasket has come out along with the filter and that you replace it with a new sealing gasket. And then replace it and torque the two bolts. Clean the mating surface on the transmission, and then of course clean the pan real good. There are two magnets that you have to remove and clean up along with the pan. Use generous amounts of brake cleaner to do this. These CVT transmissions, you know, they don't have and time will tell. They've been there for a while, but you know, they're not the best of transmissions, and you want to make sure that you replace both filters and the fluid every 30,000 miles, as I said before. Here, that little cylinder, there's one on the other side too. If they come out as you remove the pan, don't worry, you can just put them back, and they just go into those two holes. And you might need the help of somebody else to put it back together. And as soon as you have aligned the two little cylinders into the holes of the gasket and the pan, then you can tighten by hand one of the bolts and start off all the bolts by hand, a few threads, and then you can use a gun to drive them the rest of the way. If your gun has a stopper, some do, like this Milwaukee one. I have a video that I'm reviewing it. You might want to watch that. But if you put it on the number, one of the settings, I forget, it will stop as soon as it senses resistance. So you can use it to tighten. If you have a gun like that, you can tighten it as soon as it senses the resistance. It will stop, and then you can torque it after that. And you can go, I mean, here you don't need to go crisscross or in any pattern but as you torque them, I definitely suggest, and that's what the service manual says, to go, and I'll show that here in a second. As you would do wheels, tires, because you don't want this to leak. And I think, as I said before, the filter and all of these bolts torque at 9 foot-pounds. So You go across two of them and then the other two ends, and then sort of, some kind of pattern. Torque all of them, and then go all the way around and make sure that everything is torqued once more. So this is the second round of it. Start in one corner and go all the way around one more time. Make sure they're all torqued properly, that you hear the click as soon as you turn it. This is probably the most critical. This and torquing also the heat exchanger and the engine bay for the other filter, because this is what will prevent the fluid from leaking. So now it's time to, if you do both filters, then you need to add about five US quarts. If you have done just the filter, well, start with 5, because I think it will take about 5.3 quarts. And of course, you can also measure what comes out and replace it. But that's with the presumption that the previous stammet was filled to the proper level and no transmission fluid was lost in between. So put in 5. Excuse me, and then I'll show you the level checking part of this. In just a few minutes, but so you want to fill about 5 quarts of fluid and then bring the car to temp. What the Honda service manual says is that you want to make sure that the fan, the engine fan, the radiator fan comes on twice. So because transmission fluid expands, as you know, and so you want to make sure that the fan comes on twice. And then check the level after that. And then if nothing comes out of the level check hole, then you keep adding fluid. You may need somebody else's assistance at that point, because you'll do the level checking from the bottom. Somebody to just gradually add more fluid, and then while you're checking the level, and it would take another, in my experience, so another third of a quart. So after the 5 quarts, plug it back in, and you'll have to just temporarily put the air filter housing there. You don't need to tighten it. Connect everything just loosely. I mean, the electric plug you want to connect all the way, but and then start the engine and go through the gears according to the service manual at least 3 seconds. I'm doing it every 5 seconds here. So shift the gears to start from where it is in park, go to reverse, neutral, drive, all the way down, and 5 seconds a piece, all the way back to park. If you don't have a shifter pedal, the same way, just all the way, 5 seconds. If you have a lift and the car is not on jack stance, meaning it's more convenient, then you can actually drive it out. With 5 quarts of fluid there, you won't have any issues. It will not cause any problems. Just drive the car for a little while until it's nice and warm, and then put it back on the lift and drive it over the lift, and then check the fluid level and make the final adjustment. But if the car is on jack stance, then of course it's not very convenient, so you just want to make sure that the fan comes on twice, as I mentioned before. So this is where the level bolt is. I think it's 15 foot-pounds, and I'll have that there too. And this is, if anything comes out, in this case, as you can see, nothing has come out, so five quarts is not enough. So add a little more, just gradually have somebody add it on the top, and then as it starts to drain, plug it in and torque it, and you're done. Put the cover back on, and then clean everything, check for any leaks, and replace the filter housing, and you're done. I hope you find this video of use, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.